What's going on, everyone? GoodMicWork back at you with some breaking news. Kind of a bombshell just got dropped on all of us within the last hour. Oh man, my own stream is going off. There we go. Sorry about that. Big news regarding WrestleMania 36 just broke across the wires here about an hour ago. First reported by Pro Wrestling Sheet and Ryan Satin. Roman Reigns is out. That's right, out of his Universal Championship match with Goldberg at WrestleMania 36. Now, WWE just finished up tonight, apparently, taping everything for WrestleMania and everything for the post-WrestleMania Raws and SmackDowns and all of that, because apparently there is going to be a new order going in the city of Orlando that's going to prevent them from doing any future shows at the Performance Center, it looks like. And that's something that we talked about a couple of weeks ago when they first postponed WrestleMania to the Performance Center. We said that there's no guarantee that that will even happen because the city of Orlando might shut it down. So WWE obviously knew that too, which is why they chose to go the very strange route of basically recording ahead of time a WrestleMania event. How fucking crazy is that? That we're, going to be watching this year's WrestleMania as a taped show. So let me say this right off the bat before we discuss these details here. If you know any of the spoilers for WrestleMania, shut the fuck up. Nobody needs to hear them. We can all look them up if we want. So the big news, like I said, is that Roman Reigns is out. Now, Nathan Hansen, thank you for the super chat there. I appreciate it. I'll answer that in 1 second. And I'm going to read the article here from a Pro Wrestling Sheet just to tell you what we know so far. So sources with knowledge of the situation tell us Roman Reigns expressed to WWE that he didn't feel comfortable doing any more of the Performance Center shows during the coronavirus pandemic due to his compromised immune system from his battle with leukemia and didn't want to risk his health. We're told WWE honored his request and he will now be replaced by someone else in the match against Goldberg, though it's unclear who at this time. Now, one of the things that I saw a little while ago on Twitter is a couple of people have reached out, including Justin Barrasso and Sean Ross Sapp, I believe, to WWE for comment, and they declined to comment on the situation. So kind of what that tells me is that they ran an angle in the tapings. I'm not sure. Like I said, I don't know what happened. Some of you may know it. Just let's not spoil anything for anyone. But if I had to guess, the fact that WWE doesn't want to really acknowledge anything makes me think that they might have ran some sort of an angle, because the true story here is that Roman Reigns didn't want to wrestle due to, he didn't want to take the risk. I don't know if that's something they're really going to say on TV or on camera. WWE seems to not really be talking a lot about the virus itself, just mostly talking about how strange everything is around the globe right now. So that makes me think that maybe they ran an injury angle with Roman, or they did something to write him out of the match and then he's replaced by someone else. Now, there's a huge piece of talent on the roster right now, despite the fact that he's acted like a huge douchebag in the past couple of weeks. You've got Braun Strowman sitting right there with no opponent. So I think he would be a likely candidate. A lot of people have thrown out the idea of the winner of Bray Wyatt and John Cena to take on Goldberg, which would be an interesting match regardless of who wins, especially if you put the belt back on Bray Wyatt or anything, or something. So I am talking to you guys as someone who is not aware of these spoilers. I don't know what has happened. So I don't know what WWE's decision was going to be here, if they're going to continue to if the plan was to take the belt off of Goldberg originally. Do they still do that and just slap the belt on somebody else, or is Goldberg now going to be our champion until this virus surpasses? And the post-WrestleMania Raw and SmackDown, I believe, have already been filmed as well. So WWE, they adjusted here. It's just kind of odd that not odd, it just sucks that it happened at the last minute. I'm certainly in no way, shape, or form blaming Roman Reigns at all. He had every fucking right in the world to do this, and anybody who says differently is a fucking moron. This guy has, survived 2 battles with leukemia, and, we speculated on Roman's health prior to this, going into this pandemic a couple of weeks ago on the Winged Eagle. I know we discussed this. And I remember saying, well, it's up to him. It's got to be on him. It's got to be what he feels comfortable doing. And they went ahead with the plans to put him against Goldberg. Well, now it looks like he's had a change of heart, maybe at the last minute, because it's not like they're testing these guys for coronavirus. All they're doing is taking their temperature and making sure they're healthy and making sure they're good to go. But you can be completely healthy and have this shit. So I think that Roman Reigns did the right thing here, just not wanting to risk it. If he needs to hold up in his house for a while, that's what he needs to do. And I wouldn't blame any pieces of talent who wanted to do that and request look, this is fucking ridiculous. I know it's WrestleMania. I know we're trying to do everything we can to salvage this event, but it's just putting too many people at risk, regardless of whether or not you take our temperature when we come in the door or not. And I'm glad that somebody kind of stepped up and said, this doesn't work for me, brother. There is also talk. I think Meltzer has reported this evening that Lashley is in quarantine, so looks like his match with Aleister Black is out. I have not seen any confirmation on the Daniel Bryan news, but there's some rumblings that he may be out of his match as well. But it doesn't matter. Everything's been taped and is done. So I think we're finally done with the breaking news. I think some of the news that's coming in now is stuff that we're learning after these tapings have taken place. So there could be a couple of matches fucked up by this, and this whole entire event is turned into one big clusterfuck. I put on Twitter just a little while ago that this WrestleMania feels like it's been tossed into a dryer. It's just been tumbled around and jumbled up, and we don't know what the heck is going on, and they're trying to salvage this show and do all sorts of different things to try to make this a watchable event. Apparently the Boneyard match and John Cena and Bray Wyatt's match is kind of like off-site stuff, and they're trying to make things, a little bit interesting, but in the end, this is going to be looked back on as just a complete disaster. And shout out to John Draper on Twitter, who I was talking to a minute ago. And, a lot of people, I think, not only him, but everybody else is really calling just for the entire event at this point, just to be canceled, just scrap it. But the problem is they've already taped everything now. So even if WWE in the next 48 hours has a change of heart and says, you know what, we're just going to shit can this WrestleMania. It's not going to work. We don't even want to air what we have. It would make a hell of a DVD extra one day, or a network special on the network to look back on one day and say the WrestleMania that was, the WrestleMania that really never happened, like the Rockers Phantom tag team title change that was never recognized. And, maybe we can look back at this, someday and say, wow, what a crazy time that was. But it doesn't look like that's going to happen. They're going to air this on April 4th and 5th. They've gone really out of their way to try to tape and do as much as they can here. And with some last minute changes due to the virus, I guess that's to be expected, because every day these numbers are growing, and every day, more people in every city are coming down with this thing. So, I mean, I would not be getting on an airplane right now. These people who live outside of Orlando, how are they getting home? Are they actually getting on planes and flying home? I don't think that's too safe, because all it takes is, once you catch it, you got it, So if you can't like go home and quarantine and then get on a plane and go to work and then go back home and quarantine. Doesn't really work that way. If you need to self-isolate, you need to self-isolate. And I think anybody that is at a greater risk of catching this thing, based on what we know right now from the CDC and everything, they do need to take every single precaution necessary. So good on Roman for standing up and saying this. As far as, any ball being dropped here, not really. This is a fucking pandemic, man. What else do you want everybody to do? It's really easy for us to say, oh, WWE should have taped the Roman Reigns and Goldberg match 3 weeks ago. Well, this is an ever-changing and ever-evolving situation here, and I think maybe a few weeks ago people thought it wouldn't get as serious as it is now getting, and maybe that they, will still be able to do this in time. You can't really think that far ahead when you have no clue what you're even dealing with here. So, yes, probably steps could have been taken to get this match in the can prior to furthering the risk of any other talent, but shit was a mess. I think they were doing everything they could under the circumstances, but now it seems like the overwhelming, I guess, opinion out there in the wrestling world that WWE should we're not interested. It's just not working out. They might have taped some glorious shit here. Edge is now officially back in the ring. He has had his match. I don't know who won, but he's taped it. So he's back now. So it just sucks that we're in this situation that we've got this type of show. It just feels like it's become more of a nuisance, more of a pain in the ass, more of an ever-changing situation that's only frustrating and disappointing the wrestling fans further and further each day. If it was up to me, I'm probably with the rest of everybody else that's just said, you know what, it's not going to work this year. This year isn't going to have a WrestleMania. Sometimes in sports, when there's a big strike or something, you miss a season. And due to this pandemic, due to something that every single human being on this planet is dealing with, it's the first time in our lifetime anything like this has happened. So nobody's going to blame the WWE if they had to cancel WrestleMania 36. I feel like there would be a lot less fans screaming at WWE, why did you cancel WrestleMania and ruin my time? You should have had the show. I feel like there would be very few people saying that. Only the dumbest of the dumb would be saying shit like that. It feels like most people are on the other side of that, saying, why are you going through with this show? We all want WrestleMania. I want WrestleMania in Tampa in front of 80,000 people, but we can't have that. So for WWE to, just relentlessly try to put on the show no matter what, based on the resources they have, I can understand. But as a fan, it's like, it's kind of two perspectives here. If I'm in WWE or if you're a part of that company, yes, you need to try to get this show done. I totally get it. But from a fan's perspective, you have to say, well, this is not going to be as entertaining. It's not going to be the same. And plus, we're a little bit worried about these wrestlers that are going to work and are putting themselves at risk. AEW is doing the same thing, even though they've got an empty arena. As you noticed on Dynamite, they took the wrestlers away from the ringside area and shot them, kind of in a green room backstage, about 5 at a time. So they're trying to adhere to the no more than 10 people thing while still putting on a show. And it's just like, God, why even bother at this point? It's a mess. NXT, same thing. This whole thing just sucks. We've seen 3 big debuts, Matt Hardy, Brody Lee, and Killer Kross last night. All came back during this empty arena nonsense. And I think that sucks for them. It sucks for everybody. So, WWE cannot just, shut down everything. They have to continue to try to do business and put on television shows that they are contracted to do on USA and Fox, but not at the expense of the wrestlers and not at the expense of any of your employees there. So it's kind of a weird line that, you got to be careful not to cross. And I think just based on everything that's going on, it would just be in everybody's best interest to shut everything the fuck down. AEW, NXT, WWE, everything. Just stop. There's just no point right now. It's getting too crazy. This is getting too serious. Here at my own local grocery store, they're not letting any more than a certain amount of people in, and you've got a line outside the door with each person with 6 feet of space in between each person outside that line. Everybody is staying the hell away from each other right now. So, having a bunch of people inside of a performance center to produce TV just doesn't seem responsible, especially if some of these wrestlers come down with this, which I think is likely going to happen. That somebody's just going, but the numbers are just going to make it happen. Somebody is going to get this. For me personally, so far yet in my life, I don't know anybody that has it, but that's going to change. I'm going to know somebody that has it. We're all gonna. So I think it's best for everything to end as of now. And the funny thing is this debate is sort of moot at this point, because as it looks, all of their planned TV shows are done. They've already been filmed. You can't go back and unfilm it now. So they're done. So it is possible that everything beyond what they filmed, there isn't going to be any more wrestling. They aren't going to do any more TV shows because of the recent news coming out today about the Performance Center apparently is going to be shut down tonight at midnight or something like that, or they're not going to allow anybody in there, as far, whether it's essential personnel or not. So it looks like they might be paralyzed after this. And I think that was their main goal, to get all of their shit taped, to get WrestleMania and the post shows done. That way, if they have to put everything on hold, they're where they want to be, storyline wise for when they pick things back up, I suppose. But either way, it's a shitty situation, not only for the company, but for the wrestlers there and for us, the fans. This whole thing sucks. This whole thing sucks. And like I've been preaching ever since this happened, there is no right or wrong way to handle this. No fan here in the chat, which I'll start answering some of these comments here in a minute, and the super chats. Nobody here in the chat, nobody on Twitter, nobody on YouTube can insist or demand that WWE do things a certain way. This is all new territory for us. But like I said, we're all allowed to have an opinion, and we're all allowed to have a vote. And my kind of humble opinion is they should have just not have done this. And just from the word go, as soon as this stuff started getting serious, they should have sent everybody home. But when you're a big publicly traded company like that with 2 TV contracts to produce live, don't forget television, they're just hell bent on keeping it going and keeping, money coming in. Otherwise their stock's going to tank, and, the business is going to be in serious trouble. Vince McMahon is taking action and putting things into place to make sure he can, inject a little money into the company to get through these crazy times and everything. So it's, the decisions aren't as easy as what a wrestling fan thinks. When we sit there and we just judge what we see on TV and we say, oh yeah, WWE shouldn't do this. It's really not that simple. There's a lot of other things to take into account. Now, this was years ago when WWE was a little bit smaller and a family-run business. The decisions were probably easier, but now they're not. They're very much not easy. So I wouldn't want to be in WWE or AEW shoes right now. AEW canceled the Blood and Guts, and they ran a different show instead last night. But they're kind of on this touch-and-go situation, too, because they don't know what they're going to do in the next several weeks. So wrestling has taken a quite the blow here, quite the headshot from this virus. And it sucks that we have to deal with it. But anyway, let me cruise up here to the chat, and then we'll talk a little bit more about WrestleMania and maybe a few other things. Nathan Hansen, I got you. I appreciate that, man. WWE Fan 22, thank you for the $5. I honestly think WWE is seeing way past WrestleMania at this point. Hopefully WWE gets through Mania and stacked the SummerSlam card. Yeah, that's what we can hope. I mean, you got to hope that, there's so many things that you have to take into consideration first, like the coronavirus kind of letting up, maybe releasing its grip a little bit, and maybe life can slowly start getting back to normal. And if we can get to that point by the summer, then yeah, we can have an awesome SummerSlam and all will be right with the world again. Dave Meltzer is still saying Roman faked his cancer. Are we sure Dave Meltzer said that? That seems like something an idiot would say. But yeah, it's we got to just hope that we get things back to normal by the summer. If that happens, then I think this will be looked back on at a very strange 4 months in human history, and something that we never want to revisit again. And I think that's kind of like the best case scenario. I have a feeling it might be even worse than that. I'm starting to worry myself about what I'm going to do. I think the nation could really use some sort of a rent freeze, at least for the next month, just so we can, take a breather and don't have to worry about anything else on top of everything we're already worrying about. Because the government sending me $1,200 ain't gonna do jack shit for me. Wow, you sent me half my rent. Thanks. I think we've got a lot bigger problems out there and stuff. So it's kind of a mess out there. So like I said in every stream, however you guys are doing, I hope you're handling this well and you're doing all right. And I appreciate you hanging out and listening to this this evening. Let me see what else we said here. I got a couple of videos coming your way. As always, I'll be up here on Saturday for the Winged Eagle. We'll talk a little bit about NXT and AEW. We will have a lot more information about WrestleMania, but you can rest assured that I will not be giving spoilers out on this channel. But we'll talk about, a Mania preview and anything else in the latest on the coronavirus pandemic. And I am also in the middle of working on a Dark Side of the Ring commentary on the Chris Benoit tragedies. I've watched that documentary in full, both parts, twice now. And I just, like I said last week, I even got an early screening on part 2. And I saw the first 2 parts before most people did. And I just was not in the right frame of mind to come up here and try to rush out a video or bust out a live stream. I had to really kind of, take all that in and absorb it. And I thought to myself, if I'm going to come up and do any sort of a video or a commentary on the Benoit tragedies, I need to organize my thoughts and not just wing it. I think I owe the legacies of Nancy and Daniel more than that if I'm going to talk about this again, because I talked about it about 13 years ago. About 3 years ago during the 10-year anniversary. So that'll be coming to you. I'm going to work on that, probably finish it up tonight and tomorrow, and I'll either upload it tomorrow or I will premiere it or something like that. So keep a lookout. But you do have comments on the Chris Benoit tragedies and the Dark Side of the Ring documentary. They will be coming up on the channel very soon. But as of now, I figured it would at least be worth it to pop up here since I ain't got to go to work or anything and come up here and talk about the Roman Reigns news. Nathan Hansen, thanks again for another $2, dude. I appreciate it. WrestleMania 38, Punk Rollins, Rock Roman, Edge Cena, Triple H, and Cole. No, I thought you meant Michael Cole. Triple H and Cole. Triple H and Adam Cole. Be an interesting match. Yeah. Well, how is he? Good to see you, man. Hope you're doing all right and all this nonsense. Oh, man, sorry to hear about that, Tom Grogan. Oh, man, yeah, see, it's rough. It's rough. It's rough for all of us, man. So yeah, what do y'all think about the Roman news, though? I'm not upset about it. Most people weren't really even interested in the Roman Reigns and Goldberg match anyway, but, depending on what they do and how, they handled the situation in the tapings, it might turn out to be a better thing, at least from a fan's perspective. But from Roman's perspective, I'm glad that he put himself first. I mean, that has to be it. If there's some douchebag on fucking YouTube claiming that he's selfish or something, this guy was probably going to win the title and he gave it away just to ensure that he's being safe. I cannot blame him for that at all. I would do the same thing if I was in his position, and I hope that more talent speaks up. Looks like it's, like I said, it's moot now because everything's been taped, but if I was there, I'd also probably feel a little bit uncomfortable, and I'd find the whole thing a little bit unsettling to have to go to work, and work in this line of work, where you're in such close contact with other people when you're doing exactly what they're telling you not to is basically your job. Think about that. Wrestling's the job of a wrestler is to do exactly what the pandemic experts, are telling us not to do. How ironic is that? So yeah, I'm glad that this nonsense is at least taped, and at least we don't have to worry about any more future risks being taken, at least for the moment. Where everything happens and where it goes in the next several weeks, we'll have to wait and see. But at least for right now, at least it's done. At least WrestleMania's done. And now, the folks in the studio can edit that and put it together and deliver it to us on the network in a couple of weeks. And that'll be the end of it, at least for now. So, man. Okay, Fabe, what's going on, man? Good to see you in here, Connor. Thanks for the $5. I appreciate that. Go over and sub OK Fabe's YouTube channel. He's got a great one. Good podcast, all sorts of good opinions, and he is not a dumbass. So that's exactly what you want to look for in the YouTube community. We're a rare breed, I'll tell you that. Yeah, I am getting close to 30,000. We'll get there. I'm only about 20 followers away from 5,000 on Twitter, so I wouldn't mind a follow if y'all are on that platform. Shoot me one over there. Chris Ludecki, thanks, man, for the $5. For a guy who is supposed to be the next Cena, he's been snake bitten since the original Shield breakup, hernia, suspension, leukemia, etc. Yeah, he has. He also didn't he have the sickness, the mumps? Didn't he Kurt Angle took his place or something? Am I remembering that right? And I forgot about the hernia. And the Shield breakup, he had the suspension. So, yeah, true that. Cena, one thing about Cena, he kept his nose clean, and he stayed relatively injury-free. He was only out a couple of times. And when he was back in, record time. So, yeah, Cena was kind of a freak of nature looking back on it now. Yes, Zachary, from what we understand, the WrestleMania taping is done. I think that was taped yesterday and today. So that is all in the can now. And that's when the Roman Reigns news broke. So some of the, bigger wrestling media guys are probably checking out the results and found out the Roman news and delivered that to us. So that's all we know right now. If you want to dig a little bit, you can find out what happened. You can find out who replaced him, and you can find out who the champions are if you really want to. But I'm going to try not to and try to at least watch WrestleMania like it's live, even though it's going to be fucking crazy in a couple of weeks. Or I'm sorry, next weekend. Man, oh man. Yeah, mumps too. That's what I said. Devlin, good to see you, man. Thanks. Just finished my last quarantine meal delivery for the day, and then boom, Roman is no longer at Mania. No shit, man. That was kind of news that I wasn't expecting to see. But, like I said, good for him. You got to take care of yourself. Just watched WrestleMania 4 last week. 32 years old today. Yeah, that's actually the very first pay-per-view I ever watched because I was at WrestleMania 3. I had a horrible bike accident and I was in the hospital the day of Survivor Series 87, which was on pay-per-view. And then WrestleMania 4 was the very first pay-per-view I actually ever got ordered for me via the cable system and sat and watched it. It was fun. I'll never forget that shit. What a day for Savage. Great day if you're a good mic work. If you're a little good mic work watching Savage win the title. Thanks, W. Turner. Appreciate the kind words. Thanks to everybody with kind words in the chat. Thanks, Nick Musser. Your podcast should be TV if weekly shows canceled. Thanks, dude. You mean put my YouTube show in place of Raw and SmackDown on USA? Oh, man, could you imagine the ratings? I'd probably have to do that shirtless. Michael Cuomo, thank you, man, for the $5. Good to see you in here as well. Awesome Patreon supporter that you are. I could really use a rent freeze. Tell me about it. Even though I'm still working, I'm paying $3,400 for my shoebox. Damn, you pay more than me. I'm over $2,000, but damn, $3,400. That is gnarly. Yeah, we could all use it. I think it would be the right thing to do. You don't have to go crazy. We don't need 6 months of free rent or anything, but let's be reasonable here. Give everybody April off, man, and let us deal with this, and then we'll kind of revisit things in May. It just seems like it would be such an easy thing for, the government to put into place, and it would really greatly help a lot of people. It would honestly probably help them out a lot more than the bullshit money they're supposedly sending all of us in the next several weeks. So, yeah, it would be nice to get a little bit more help. That's absolutely for sure. Thank you, Chaz. All is well with me at the moment. I am actually going to go into my job and do a little bit of work next week, just kind of some under the table work and get some done. So I'm actually looking forward to that and kind of ending a little bit of my cabin fever. So, I'm hanging in there. And I still got YouTube, and I can come up here and just hang out with you guys with all this free time. So at least I got y'all. I don't know, Devlin. I don't know what's going to happen, and I know you do. Devlin is in here with all the knowledge. He knows what happened. He's read the spoilers, so I don't want to know. I can't put my finger on it. I would say yes, but I don't know if I want to see them put the belt on somebody completely fucking random just on a whim. So I don't know. I don't know what the hell's going to happen. We'll find out. And who knows, I might get myself tempted one night between now and then and just break down and fucking read them. I don't know. Who knows what I'm going to do, but don't worry, I'll never share them with any of you. Howdy from Texas. Good to see you, Beetle. Hope everything's down in good old Texas. Imagine if Dean Ambrose had the gas mask gimmick right now. Yeah, tell me about it. Greetings, Alex from Tijuana, Mexico. You're not far away from me at all, just a few miles below me. Hope everything's going well down there below the border. Oh, okay. Oh, sorry, Devlin. I misunderstood. I thought you had read the. I thought you read the spoilers. Joshua Aparicio, thanks for the $2, man. Appreciate it. Just got out of work. How have you been? I've been great. I mean, I've not been great, but I've been hanging in there. We're in the middle of this pandemic, which kind of sucks, and my computer's making noise. So I'm dealing with it just like everybody is, and we're just trying to get through it one day at a time. And at least it's fun to come up here and talk to you guys. At least we know we can like interact, you know? It's a good thing it's not the 70s. Could you imagine? We'd have nothing to do, man. What would we be doing? A whole lot of reading, and reading sucks. YouTube's better. Much more fun. So, anywho, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here now. I wanted this to be a very quick live stream. I appreciate these super chats still rolling in, though. Here's one from Marcus Metcalf. Thanks, brother, for the $5. Appreciate it. Every little bit helps, man. During the quarantine, what's your go-to men's singles match, women's singles match, tag team, and stipulation match? Holy shit, did you hit me with a lot? Men's single match, I mean, it's WrestleMania season, so I'm probably going to go maybe like one of Bret Hart's title wins. I'm either going to go Bret and Owen from WrestleMania, where Bret lost, or I'm going to go like Bret Diesel from Survivor Series 95. But if I want to watch like a masterpiece, I'll probably do like Rob Van Dam and Jerry Lynn. I don't know what that was, Heat Wave or whatever. Shawn Michaels and Taker at WrestleMania 25 is just still a beautiful thing to watch. Women's singles match, I don't know, probably be something from NXT. Maybe that's a Bayley Sasha match that they had. Tag match, I'm gonna go Demolition Heart Foundation from SummerSlam 1990. And favorite stipulation match, let's go Texas Bull Rope match. Superstar Billy Graham and Dusty Rhodes. Why not? Let's get creative with it. Or maybe the dog collar match between Piper and Valentine at Starrcade. That was pretty awesome also. So anyway, but yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here now, guys. I appreciate it. Like I said, keep a lookout on the channel. I will be having a review of the Chris Benoit Dark Side of the Ring documentary on the Vice channel. I've really tried to write down and organize my thoughts for that, and I plan on recording that soon, so I will have that hitting the channel in the very near future, hopefully tomorrow if I get everything done the way I want to. And then on Saturday, I'll be up here again for the Winged Eagle, and we will talk about all the latest WrestleMania news, what's going on, and we'll talk some AEW and NXT results as well. And thank you, Mark Ram, for the $2. I'm not sure if that's a spoiler or not, so I'm not going to say it out loud. But you guys take care. I'm going to talk to you later, and we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night. Peace.